It's not exactly what the purpose of the spell is.
Yeah, and I think that was it was a Monkey King matchup.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, this is a very early smoke from Unique. Just, it used to be you would smoke to get out and ward faster.
Could be what they're trying to do anyway. Vanscore's got one and he's leading the pack, being the fastest of them all. Man, look at that. 368 movement speed with this smoke on the Enchantress.
This is a deep ward. So I guess courier spotting?
Yeah, I mean, they're pinging them out. It's not really an obvious ward that they planted down here on Viking's side, so it's going to reveal absolutely everything about the movement. It should mean that they're also getting confident on this top side as well, with the bounties going for both of them.
Yeah, and a nice...
And you can... They don't want to bar of it. They don't want to go anywhere close to this bottom side. And they've changed things up a little bit, so you've got the Enigma in the bottom lane.
Mm-hmm. Up against... But it looks like they've got Gyro in the bottom lane, maybe? Or is he rotating back up top after the smoke? Okay, that makes more sense. Or not?
Oh, no.
All right,
yes, no, yes, no.
Great juking of the casters. Well done. You've baited us.
I mean, it was the right move, actually, to continue moving up towards the top side on this Gyro. You want to have the Kunkka in the bottom side just to be able to tie-bringer those Eidolons. And you can see here he's just holding them all the way back underneath the tier 2 tower, actually TPing forward towards the lane, so having to be very careful about not feeding away a death early on, but I don't think there's too much kill potential at this stage.
This is Enchantress's plan to enchant Eidolons? Was that what she was looking to do?
Maybe. I think it was more about just feeding it up a little bit, I don't know.
Fair enough, but she moved up top, so now it is tri-lane here aggressively. It's going to be a nice cask to stop Enchantress for a little bit. Do they have enough damage? Nah, with that Rubik. Maybe?
Oh.
Yeah, there's a Fairy Fire to keep her alive, and she actually has a second one on Enchantress, so... Vanscore's okay. He can run himself back, and tri-lane versus tri-lane.
This is what we like to see. I mean, Ajara is pretty happy. You know, he uses a ton of mana in that early game, so he's going to need to be kept pretty healthy. Maybe Illusion's going to go into an early ring of Basilius. But, yeah, just with this flat cannon, you're able to put a ton of harass out onto the enemy team.
Yeah.
So we might see him start to max that up before the Rocket Barrage, considering it's just going to be bouncing around to a bunch of different heroes.
I really want to see stacking from these teams, and I don't think we're going to see it. I think these lanes are going to be too active. But both Gyro and Luna benefit so much from that.
Aramis, he's just using his body to block it. Not getting punished too hard as well, so nicely done by him.
Is it worth it for Enigma to micro the Eidolons to get stacks? Yeah, there's some aggression going here. Throwing Aramis back, kind of keeping him out of the way. Nice stun onto the Gyro. Doesn't look like they have the follow-up yet. There's no Maledict on Celery. Is he a vegetable, or is he something more arcane sounding?
I mean, Vikings aren't really known for their veggies. They're their love of that, right? They're more of a carnivorous people.
So we think he's Celery instead of Celery.
I think he's Celery.
Okay. That's more exotic sounding. That's better. There's a slow here onto Shad. He's probably going to eat a rocket in the face. Illusion throwing him back as well, but in comes Aramis. A nice stun from Celery. Viking getting fairly low, pops the stick charges, and they don't quite have enough to finish him off, and now they're going to turn on to the Gyro. Still probably not enough to take anyone down. This is just the burning the regen wars.
Yeah, and that horrible ability Voodoo Restoration coming in real handy. I think Luna would have died without that.
So it's not as horrible as you think. Look at the value point.
I better only see 1 point in that. That's all I gotta say.
I want to check in on these other lanes, but this top lane is just so active. You know, we've got to cask out onto Vanscore. A little unlucky with the bounces. And now forcing everybody back once again. These sticks really paying off with so many spells being used. Luna's getting a lot of free regen.
I mean, and this is where we should see a lot of the action happening, right? This is the kill lane, 3 people, although 19 has done a pretty good job of bullying out this Leshrac, fairly even on the CS, and lucky for him, he's able to pick up this DD rune.
Hopefully allow him to catch up just a little bit, and he does have an Earthshaker. Ready to rotate in and take advantage of it if he can find the right opening and positioning. And Invoker does not have vision of that. Oop, Luna topside getting pretty low again, and that value point keeping Shad alive. Look at this Voodoo Restoration go. He is out of mana regen. So
he is, and that's the thing, right? Like, Celeri was holding on to that point that he got when he leveled up to 3, and are we seeing a bit of a pincer maneuver coming off here from Vanscore?
Yeah, a little bit of a rune fight, and he's just forced back. Nice stun with Boom rotating in. There's our first blood. And a deny on the bounty rune. Enchantress may have died, but Vanscore got the last word there.
Yeah, nicely done by him. Giving the first blood up to, was that the Leshrac? Yeah, it was. So that's going to accelerate their timing pretty significantly. We're able to farm up these neutrals fairly effectively, though, just as a couple of them. And yeah, Celeri, you don't really have the luxury, especially with how poor you're going to be in this lane, of putting any points into the Maledict, even though you might love to, just because there's only so much mana that a position 5 Witch Doctor can have.
Yeah. So maybe he'll just have to keep getting more points into that Voodoo Restoration. It'll make you so happy.
Maybe.
I don't, yeah, no, let's not do that.
One more, maybe one more point. I don't know, it's not terrible. It kind of is.
Yeah.
Like, it's not one of those ones where you get super value from scaling it from 1 point to 2. Or speaking of Celeri, he might be in a little bit of trouble here.
Well, meanwhile, 19 is in trouble. The black hole is used here from Toby onto the Invoker. A great first black hole usage, and now we're gonna jump up and see Shad in some trouble, but Earthshaker Fish are holding everyone back.
Yeah. You can see Toby's keen to start pushing these creeps underneath the tier 1 tower in mid, wanting to make the most of the fact that Invoker is dead for the next 5 seconds. He's going to take out the siege creep, just going to have enough for his demonic conversion now, and here we go, start to make some pressure.
And that is, I mean, that was a level 6 at 6 minutes from Toby. So yeah, that rotation to middle, I mean, what a great early usage of black hole. Really taking advantage of that 1v1 level advantage that he got. And
I mean, we were paying attention to the top lane a lot of the time. The fact that he was able to make that rotation, obviously secured the power rune as well as got the kill onto the Invoker. But the thing about the Enigma is you're constantly thinking, right, they're just going to deny the lane creeps and influence it to be a bit closer towards your tower. But what you can also do, like what I'm thinking he did there, is use it on the enemy creeps, which forces the wave into the enemy tower and gives you a little bit of that freedom to make those sorts of rotations.
Yeah, and BCZ has actually taken advantage of all of this lane space to get this tier 1 tower down to 350 HP. So he's going to get a free tower here, pretty much.
What's he got coming out to him as well? So he's just got the Bracer, and he's got a full magic wand as well, going into the Hood of Defiance, so he wants to be ready to fight early on. And it's perfectly understandable. You know, Gyro is one of those cores that can come online relatively easily. And yeah, Invoker, he's been having an alright game as well. He's got the Urn already queued up, going for this Quas-Wex build and relying on the rest of the team to do a lot of the damage, at least early on into the fight.
Well, and with BZZ sitting at the top of the net worth chart, I think that this Kunkka is going to be able to deliver a lot of that damage.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When you talk about scaling, Kunkka, probably one of the worst ultimates at scaling, but that's just because of how insane it is at level 6.
Yeah, and he's here in the top lane looking to make something happen, but the Earthshaker Fisher was really nice for holding all of Unique back, and giving Viking time to retreat, although Unique continuing to be aggressive, and now moving into that middle lane potentially to make something happen.
A little bit of a misplay coming there from the Enchantress, having the Mud Golem enchanted, and could have potentially caught out someone, but they found Aramis here in the side.
I think he is in a lot of trouble. The Maledict out on Gyro, getting kind of low, and now there's a boat coming in onto the Lesh. Lesh to fall too, so nice 2 kills for Unique there.
Yeah, carries arrived, and BZZ taking advantage of that early-ish free lane that he got. There's only a certain point that Toby can stay into that lane, right?
Yeah, and he's in a lot of trouble here in the mid lane with the Cold Snap and the Urn. Unique making a lot happen across the map.
Yeah, they're playing this perfectly. They have both outposts secured as well, so Shad, instead of farming up this free bottom lane, he's going to be forced to go back to it. They're realizing that they're falling a little bit behind, both in the experience as well as the net worth, but we've got this rotation coming through as well. Aramis, he's going to camp this as much as he can.
This is, I just realized that we are not even 10 minutes into the game yet.
Oh yeah.
This has been remarkably active ever since that 6-minute mark. Heavy movements. And I mean, if we take a look at the supports, I think they're suffering. So Witch Doctor's 5.5, which is great. But Earthshaker is 3.5. Rubik has his 6, and Enchantress is similar to the Earthshaker. So at least it's even on both sides as far as the support leveling is going.
Yeah, I think Enchantress, it's not as bad as the Earthshaker, right? You can still make a lot happen with just a few levels in. Obviously, it's great to have that 1 point in the Untouchable just to make you so much tankier. He's actually gone into a Glimmer Cape style here, so we see a lot of Enchantresses go something like 2 braces just to be essentially a position 5 that's next to unkillable. But not for him.
And this looks like at least a lot of pressure onto yet another tower for Unique. And we expected Viking to be the one pushing the Tornado, and EMP is going to catch Witch Doctor. That should be a pretty easy kill here for Unique and securing the tower. So another one to their name. While Toby gets some pressure on the top, but will TP out now that BZZ has arrived. Or at least run away.
Or will he?
Yeah, he'll run away. I thought he would TP from the trees, but he's gonna stick around.
Ooh. He tried for the cheeky last hit on the tower with his Necrobook minion just sitting in the top trees there, but not quite good enough. BZZ able to clean that one up. And he's got enough for the full hood as well, so he's having a fantastic game here for Unique.
Well, despite it being denied, at least it is one tower on the map with a little bit more control. This Gyro is in some trouble with the smoke around from Viking. He is caught out here. He'll throw the call down, trying to hold everyone back, but Boom's damage is just far too much for the Gyro to fight through.
Yeah, I mean, they've given him a lot of aggressive visions, so they should know that, well, with all of these lanes pushed in, you have to be playing on the Radiant side of the map.
And now a counterplay from Unique with Aramis getting caught. He is sitting at level 5.5, so no echo on him yet. And Unique continuing to just play very aggressively here, avenging their Gyro. And preventing Shad from having a lot of time to farm. This Luna is pretty far down on the net worth and in some trouble here with the Tornado. That's a Spirit Vessel charge used as well. Witch Doctor doing what he can to hold them back, and Shad fighting forward. So Luna will survive a nice turn kill.
Oh man, the value of that cask. It basically prevented any sort of survivability coming there from the Enchantress, trying to get the Nature's Attendants off constantly throughout that fight, just not quite able to.
Aramis in a lot of trouble again. Spirit Vessel, Cold Snap, Boat, everything thrown onto the Shaker, and that, he just respawned. He was alive for maybe 15 seconds.
Man, you always feel bad for supports when that sort of thing happens, right? It's like, just throw him a bone, give him something.
Well, and he just wants his level 6.
And, well, the thing that's great about Unique's draft as well is that with the Gyrocopter as well as this Kunkka, especially given the amount of farm that he's been able to secure early on, he can do this. He's taken, I believe it was a triple stack of Ancients, so taking that away from the Luna is a huge deal.
And we talked about in the draft how Viking did not want to let the game get to a point where Gyro got a BKB. Well, guess what Gyro's building first?
Yeah, that's not great. I mean, the one thing that they have to potentially deal with it, it's got to be hard for him to get it off. Oh, speaking of that, we've got some action happening mid.
Boom in trouble once again. Dodges the tornado, is maybe able to run away. Yeah, like Unique will not continue to pursue. So,
oh, they will now, though. They've got the pipe finished up onto BZZ. They just want to keep this aggression going. You can see Toby, he's only halfway towards his Blink Dagger, so they're not able to get any sort of turnaround potential onto that. And yeah, wisely Shad here, they're like, well, if you're trying to push, I'm pretty decent at doing that myself.
There will be a smoke on BZZ and Vanscore. Looking to see maybe just catch up with their team in their own jungle. Illusion is caught out. Rubik in a lot of trouble, so Rubik's gonna fall. First kill going the way of Viking. Yep, boom. In a lot of trouble. He's gonna get X back, torrented in the air. And that is a dead Lesh, so you just traded a support for a mid.
Very happy to do so. We've got Toby here rotating around, looking to grab the bounty runes in the relatively unsafe space on the bottom side of the map. He doesn't have a TP though, so he can't assist if they were to continue the aggression on the top side.
And he has switched things up, looking to buy that mechanism instead of the Blink Dagger.
It's okay. Maybe if he sees the fact that Gyrocopter is going towards the BKB, he might, again, seek to...
Yep, and Gyro going in on Shad. Luna's already having a hard enough time this game. She's sitting 5th down? Yeah, 5th down on the net worth. Let's see if they can do something here onto this Gyro. The Witch Doctor ult is coming out as well. No need to even use the black hole. So that is a dead Gyrocopter, but on the other side of the fight, Lesh to fall once again. 3 dead on the side of Viking.
Not even having to use the pipe as well on the Kunkka. They're able to stay fighting fit, taking advantage of this aggressive warding that they have. And then when you compare that to the vision on Viking's side, it's really just around this Roche pit area. But they haven't really made any sort of moves towards that yet on Unique. But perhaps if they take an aggressive team fight towards the top side of the map, that could become a reality.
So this early BKB on Gyro, is he going to regret this? Or is this just the effort to end the game as quickly as possible?
I don't think he's going to regret it. Like, BKB's never a bad item to have. Oh, we've got more aggression happening here on the top side.
Yeah, Shad in a lot of trouble. He can't even get a spell off this cold snap, making things hard for him. There's the Echo Slam from Aramis, though. They take down the Rubik, chasing onto the Invoker. Unable to Ghost Walk away. Finally, he gets his level 6, 7 now. Gets to use that ultimate.
Yeah. At the end of the day, though, you still lose your Luna. She's still going for something as simple as a Dragon Lance, and you've still got a ton of pressure happening on this bottom side of the map. And that's now one big teamfight ultimate that you don't have anymore. So if they wanted to, you could just finish up this BKB on the Gyrocopter. You don't have to worry about this bottom rune, although BZZ, he's taking a ton of damage here.
That's with the Maledict ticks as well.
Oof.
He is not able to make it out. Witch Doctor really doing a lot of work this game, getting a lot of kills. And Vanscore falling to boom.
Well, just overstaying his welcome a little bit. You've got 19 that's TP'd into the outpost, though. So they'll have to be a little bit cautious. And we've nearly got our level 12 as well on Gyrocopter. So he's going to be a lot more threatening in these team fights. The thing is, even if he gets his BKB, if somehow Soleri is able to get that Maledict onto him before he pops it, the damage still goes through. So it's going to be rough considering, you know, it's got such a short cast range. He doesn't have anything like the Keen Optic. He doesn't have an Aether Lens.
And Shad in trouble once again. He's netted. He's called down. And that, again, a dead Luna. Shad is really struggling this game to find anything on the map.
Yeah, and first BKB used to secure that one. You could argue that potentially it wasn't necessary, considering they had him with the nighttime surrounded somewhat. But, you know, if you're able to keep the Luna on the back foot, it's never something that you want to turn away. Ooh.
They're trying to catch out Unique here. See if they can grab anyone. And 19 looking to initiate in. Now Toby in a lot of trouble. He has the mechanism, but the Spirit Vessel's on him, so it's not going to heal nearly as much. Tornado to finish him off, and Gyro is here to go in on Solari, take down this Witch Doctor. Nice 2 kills for Unique, further advancing their gold lead.
Yeah, they just play the Gyrocopter so well, realizing the aggression, and you know, it's Duracho who's standing in for them in this particular tournament, so they want to make sure that they're making him as comfortable as possible. The other 4, they're always going to have the chemistry together, but you just want to make sure your guest, I suppose, is having the best time imaginable, and they're definitely doing that for him whenever they pick the Gyro.
So I think you may have missed it in the draft as we were addressing some mic issues, but the thing that I wanted Viking to pick up 5th was something tanky frontline playmaking so that Luna would have a lot of space and time. And what we're seeing right now is Lesh really hasn't been able to make that space, and Luna's really impacted by not having the time or space to farm. Shad has to be with his team every single moment to take these fights, with Unique being so aggressive. And there's the X onto Witch Doctor. It looks like they'll take him out early here. He's tanking a lot of damage. No Voodoo Restoration keeping him alive for now with a Maledict onto BZZ. On the other side of the fight, Toby does not have the mana for a Black Hole. He uses the mana boots, he gets it back, but he's going to fall here to Draxio. So that is an Enigma down. Solari's managed to survive this whole time. He will finally fall, not able to take out BZZ. There's the BKB popped on Gyro as he's going on to the Leshrac. Boom, pretty fast, running away. He's cold snapped and held, but he's made it to the high ground. Finally finished up that Yules, so he can use that to survive, and there's a buyback from Witch Doctor. The Echo Slam comes out, only hits onto the Gyro, and Gyro turns around, killing Aramis. Earthshaker not having a huge impact there, and now Witch Doctor's gonna dive back! He's in trouble here in the front lines, not even enough mana to throw a Maledict out. It's a nice cask, but your Witch Doctor's dead for a minute, and item progression completely destroyed.
Yeah, he wasn't really too far on the way to his Glimmer Cape anyway, but that's rough, right? You want to be able to have some level of effect in these team fights, and it just feels like it's so lacking from him. Even, again, from Shad, it's the same story as what we were seeing today with a lot of the carries. You look back at them 5 minutes later and, oh, they've got maybe one part of an item, not even a completed item. He's still 100 gold away from finishing his Dragonlance, which it feels like he's been going for the past 8 or so minutes.
It has been a while. He rushed that helm early on and hasn't really been able to make use of it. And as we saw, it's dangerous for them to make stacks right now because BZZ can just take them.
Can come right through and clear them. He's got his, has he got a medallion coming out to him? I like that. It's gonna keep him really ready to fight. He's got both the Soul Crest and the Ag Scepter queued up. I think you can potentially just stay with the medallion just because it's going to create so much more havoc in these team fights.
Yeah, and Shad is caught out here. He's cold snapped. He's Spirit Vesseled. He doesn't look like it. The Bodal actually hit him with the X, and then a call down here on the high ground with Toby. He will fall. The Black Hole is not used, and he has no buyback. Nothing to be done there. Boom, very low, trying to run away. Celery is Spirit Vesseled as well. Boom gets X back, so they're going to lose the Lech. Celery dies to the Spirit Vessel, ticks on the backside of the fight. And Luna, the only one to survive.
And I think it was a level 2 Sunstrike, actually, that was able to pick him off right at the end there. Again, this constant aggression's just coming through. X marks used onto Duracho, and he's going to come back into the fight with that Fountain Regen. He's picked up his Ag Scepter as well, so man, it's looking pretty dominant. Not GGing out just yet on Viking, perhaps thinking, well, his BKB's already down to 7 seconds. Let's try and take these team fights out. We don't have a Blink Dagger and an Earthshaker. We haven't had this really big, you know, team fight ultimate fest that's been going on. So hoping to be able to turn things around. You've got the Dragonlance now on your Luna, so there's a little bit more tanky potential. He's going into the BKB himself, so just wanting to have that little bit of a power spike relative to the Gyro when he drops off.
And Enigma has finished up the Greaves and will now be going for the BKB. So really no Blink Dagger on Toby anytime soon. We haven't seen an Eclipse in so long from Shad. I just want to point that out. This Luna
I mean, he's the one that is being initiated on every single time. They found out 19 here, but there's action happening on the left side as well.
Yeah, Shad in trouble once again. He can run himself away, so now jump over to the other side of the fight. Will Boom be able to get the damage out onto 19? Probably not. Not with the Cold Snap, not with the Torrent. Boom getting incredibly low here. The Spirit Vessel doing so much work this game. Great item pickup, and Toby falls. Once again, unable to use that Blink Dagger. Caught spread out on the fight, and now they're gonna find Solari over in the trees. There's a Sunstrike, there's a Cold Snap, there's a Spirit Vessel. Witch Doctor is down.
It's just the divide and conquer strategy. You know, there were a few misspells used onto the gyro, or sorry, onto the Luna there in base. Not able to take her down with the boat combination, but when you've got, you know, one hero able to be bullied out so easily by only a couple of heroes, like their key core, and even your supports having a huge impact here on Unique's side. There's really not too much that you can do in the grand scheme of things. Hitting up onto the tier 3 tower now, we haven't seen a black hole in the longest time, and they're really feeling it.
And there is the base broken at 24 minutes. One of the things that I tell, we're gonna have a team fight potentially, so I'll hold off on that. Nice stun here onto the gyro. He's got 9 seconds left before his BKB is back up, so Unique is pretty much ready to fight here at any moment with Solari already low. Has almost no mana left, so he's gonna have to back off and regen, and Unique runs away.
Yeah.
So one of the things I tell people, especially when you're walking around TI, and the attendants who have no idea about Dota get really into it and want to understand how to follow or how to tell who's winning. We all know that the kill score doesn't necessarily mean very much. So I always tell people to look at the gold lead. And if the gold lead is half of the current game time, then that team is dominating. So a 15k gold lead at 25 minutes is absolutely crushing Viking right now.
It is, and you know, you can make the argument where you're saying like, oh, but Viking haven't gotten off their spells. Well, that's because Unique haven't given them the position to be able to. They've kept their foot on the throat, they've kept pushing forward. Hopefully this won't cost them, because they've got a smoke gank coming out now towards the Roche pit, although there's some really nice positioning here from Illusion to be able to pop it early.
Yeah, and now an X onto the Luna once again, so Shad in trouble, but Boom taking all of the damage this time. They'll lose the Lash early on. Luna also falls on the other side of the fight. Witch Doctor ult cannot do anything, and that is a DC from the Luna. GG is called by Viking.
That was a quick DC as well. I was thinking maybe Aramis might have gone for a play right at the end. There was a